Thank you for joining us. Mecklenburg Council of Elders Volunteer Gathering. The purpose of this training is to allow new volunteers to become acclimated to Mecklenburg Council of Elders, chain of command, policy, procedures, and program. It is also to assist in your communication with the various organizations, groups, and services providers that help to comprise the components of collaboration that make up the umbrella services of this nonprofit. Your participation as a volunteer also becomes an intricate part of the chain. Thank you for being a part of us. Thank you for believing in Mecklenburg Council of Elders. Again, my name is April Benson. I am the assistant to the administrator and CEO and volunteer coordinator of Mecklenburg Council of Elders. We're gonna do an icebreaker because we want everyone to get to know each other, because we want you to be comfortable with who we are as well as myself. So Miss Maria Macon is gonna do a icebreaker. I don't know what it is, so it's a surprise.
What to do is to stand up, first of all. Put your chairs under the table. Just push them back to the table. Okay, move to, well, instead of moving to my left, how about everyone coming and getting in the circle here? So you're gonna stand in front of the table that you're in, that you're at. Everyone stand in front. One of the things that I've learned as an adult is that many times we fail to play together. So this morning, as the icebreaker, we're going to play together. We're going to play ball. This ball represents you as a volunteer. What you're going to do with this ball, I'm going to toss it to someone. And that someone is going to ask the person's name that he or she is going to toss it to, and then toss it to that person. That person is going to ask someone their name and then toss the ball to that person. And you're going to keep it going around. Doesn't have to go in a circle. It can go crisscross, up. Don't throw too high, don't throw too low. But you're going to ask the name, throw the ball. Asking the name is getting their intentions, because it's very difficult for someone to catch a ball and they don't know it's coming, right? So as volunteers, that happens a lot. As volunteers, you say, yes, I want to help. I want to be a part of this fantastic organization. And the first thing we do is say, now that I'm here, what do I do? Right, Martha? So we want to make sure that you understand this represents just your volunteerism, and I'm going to throw the ball at this point to Natasha. Did you know it? Okay, you ask someone the name and throw the ball to them.
What's your name?
Garcia Nelson.
All right. What's your name?
What's your name?
Say it loud.
What's your name?
What's your name?
What's your name?
Almaine. What's your name?
April, the queen of April.
One-handed.
I'm not good at sports.
That's a good lesson. Let's stop right there.
What's your name?
In the process of volunteering, when someone drops the ball, what happens?
You need to pick it up.
Someone else can pick it up. But we don't want to say, oh, you dropped the ball. We want to pick the ball up, right? Just like AW did. So let's continue. That's just one lesson. Continue. And if you know the name, you don't have to ask what's your name. You just call their name and throw it to them. Call somebody's name and and not me. Call somebody's name and throw the ball, unless you don't know their name.
Coutier. Garcia.
All right. Maria.
I said not me. I said that's another lesson. When you're volunteering, make sure you pay attention because you're new. So you're learning, and that process of learning means that we have to put on our ears, like I do, and make sure that we listen and pay attention, because that's how we learn when we're new as volunteers.
Tasha.
So keep it going. Keep it going. Keep it going.
Chevelle. Help somebody. That's a good.
That's good.
That's what you have to do
That's
as
good.
volunteering, ask for help.
That's good.
Calvin, best coffee in the world.
Thank you. Miss Pavia.
Continue. And as continue, keep on. And as things will be, a program comes up that you keep going. Keep throwing that ball, calling names and throwing.
Martha.
And then a program comes in, Garcia. And then a program. Now continue. You're still a volunteer.
What's your name? Hey, City. Hey, City.
Volunteer.
Yeah. Volunteer. Continue. That's a program.
That's another program.
Program continues while the volunteerism goes on. So continue. Throw the ball.
What's your name?
Throw the balls.
Miss Martha.
Now you've got program. You're volunteering. You got programs. Continue. Martha, don't stop the game. Continue.
Mecklenburg Council of Elder. Ben.
Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. You're doing good. You got volunteer. You got a program going.
AW. April again.
Ben.
So that was another good lesson, right? Yeah. One person. Yeah.
Okay. Continue.
Continue.
And then the keep going. Don't stop the going. Keep going. So you keep, and then the program gets a grant. The program gets a grant, and now,
I heard money came on the scene.
and now, keep going. Program gets a grant, and now you have more money to deal with, AW. Uh-oh. Go ahead.
Martha.
AW. Now you have a grant. Keep going.
AW. Garcia.
Keep going. That's a grant. That's the grant. Keep going. You have to wait. If you call their name and they're another lesson. If you're running the volunteers, you got a grant, but still you have to remember, you call someone's name, you have to make sure that they hear you. They may not be in, so they can't answer. So you have to make sure. The other thing is, if as a volunteer, as you're playing the game, as you're getting the funding in to do more work, the person has 1 or 2 balls. Does it make sense to throw them a 3rd ball?
No.
No. So then the idea is to allow that person's hands to get empty before you throw the ball to them. Okay? Keep going, keep going. Grant, volunteerism, program.
Chevelle.
Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Keep going, keep going. And then all of a sudden, the state recognizes you, and now your program has become larger. And so now organizations have to work more, right, Rhandu?
There's been enhancements.
So now you're throwing the ball.
Bubble, what Bubble's at?
You're not in the game. What happened to the world acknowledgement? You're now acknowledged. Okay, good. Okay, so hold up. So in that whole process of playing together, you start learning, as you notice, you start learning. Okay, well now I know if I throw it to Camille, many times she's so busy she may not be listening. So I know if I throw it to AW, he may have more balls than he can work with, so I need to hold up and try to find Garcia or find Natasha or Beth, somebody else to throw the ball. So the lessons in playing together is what we're talking about. So what I want to hear from you is what lessons did you learn in that little game, that little icebreaker, as Beth has. Please silence your phones, please. Okay, AW.
I learned, know the people that you're working with. Know them.
Know them.
Know them by name.
Know them by name. That's true. Yes.
The more you do something, the more familiar you get with the process.
Okay. Very good. Did everyone hear that?
The more you do something, the more you become familiar.
I don't know. Is that yours, AW?
No, I didn't hear. Whose phone?
That was cute. That was cute. We got to get that on tape. That was cute. I heard somebody else. Natasha?
I learned everybody that I was around, I learned their names.
And what did that do for you as it relates to volunteerism?
I mean,
More comfortable.
yeah,
Yeah, more comfortable.
yeah.
The one thing I learned is when you once you know someone's name,
Yes.
you can no longer walk past them and not speak.
Yeah.
That's it. Garcia and Camille.
I learned to slow down enough to call the name. Because sometimes I may want somebody to help me, and before I ask for that help, I don't already give them the work.
Oh, very good, very good.
The ball.
Yeah, so I need to slow it down.
Is that from an assumptive position?
I think so. I guess, wanted to be proactive and making a mistake and don't know I'm making a mistake because I'm not communicating with it. That makes sense? You know,
Oh, good,
I'm moving too fast.
good,
So throwing
good.
that ball made me think about it. To slow it down, call his name, call her name, so I know I got the attention before.
Planning.
Oh, that's
And that led
excellent.
into mine, which is communication. You have to communicate with one another in order to make the process work.
Right, right. And all of that started with all of that started with you volunteering. And sometimes people don't realize they're volunteering. But how many times have you seen Calvin at our sessions or at our workshops? Everyone. She is a volunteer. We don't think about that. She is a volunteer. So it's important that volunteers know who they are and how important they are. How many times, and I know Garcia knows this answer, have we had events and the coffee lady wasn't there? And what was the clamor of the group?
Where's Caroline?
Right, right.
Airplane like this with Calvin here, if she's not here, there's turbulence in the air.
So there's a part of the puzzle missing.
That's right. And that's every volunteer. You play an important part. My dad worked for General Motors. He could not read or write if he knew his name. He worked for General Motors. But my dad retired, and General Motors brought him back twice. So he retired twice from General Motors. And the one thing that they said was that my father brought to the table is he used to tell everyone else in other departments, this is what I do. He became a welder. This is what I do, and this is what you do to help me do what I do. This is what you do. So then General Motors started doing cross-training as a result of my father being there. And everyone knew they had to write his name for him, and they had to read for him. My father became the welder for locomotives, and he retired, like I said, twice, and made so much money until the second time they said, George, you need to sit down because you're getting paid more than our administrator that's over this department. So that's just to let you know the part that volunteers play. You may think it's a little part, but without you, the whole doesn't work. Then what happens is, what does this represent? A program. You come in, you want to volunteer, you may be just putting papers together, then a program comes in, and you may be asked to run the program in the process of volunteering. Isn't that right, Martha? Martha volunteered to just put together some papers and come to a couple of programs, and all of a sudden, she is now the secretary of the organization.
Very nice, Martha.
Very, very important part of what we do. And then with all the programs, then we start getting funding. With money comes another responsibility. But now, with funding, you can do things for the volunteers, like have events for them, like pay for certain trips and certain classes they have to take. Beth and I were talking about, we've been talking about it for 3 or 4 years, maybe longer, going to Washington to see how the affairs, the Office of Returning Citizens Affairs operates. It's the only one in the United States. And we've been talking about going, but now you have grant funding, we can go. Okay, and then with all of that you all do as volunteers, you get recognized. You get recognized by the state, and now what happens? You become a best practice. So I just wanted to, you become a best practice. Best practice means other organizations seek you out and want to know how you do it, how you do what you do. And along with that comes more funding. And it's an opportune time to announce we missed the deadline for the United Way community grant. We missed the deadline because I couldn't understand the process. So I said, well, we just won't apply. So I turned my computer off and started doing something else.
So you still volunteering, you still got other programs?
United Way sent an email yesterday and said, Mecklenburg Council of Elders didn't apply. May I ask why? And I said, yes, we didn't apply because the application process is so hard. And once I got ready to upload everything, I lost everything. And I just said, oh, forget it. I'm not applying. She said, well, if I open the portal again, and walk you through it. Would Mecklenburg Council of Elders apply? That the deadline was over. But because we are getting the recognition, volunteers working with us and that count, they opened the portal for us, and she said, do you think you could upload everything by Tuesday? And I said, yes. But that's the part that volunteers play, because if we didn't have volunteers, we wouldn't be able to do all the things we do. So thank you very much for playing with me this morning. You have your seats. Okay.
Thank you. I counted 13. But that's what we're all about, is to try to continue to help us grow and learn and get to know each other. And don't be afraid, because we're one big family. When you need help with your organizations, when you need help with other things, you got your brethren to kind of help you along. And let me say this about Miss Maria. Miss Maria loved to help her people. And if you have your organization, your nonprofit, and I don't know everything because I'm still learning, she taught me a lot, call her up. You might not get her right away. She might be sleeping. Leave her a message. Oh, yes, but she will call. You might be in the bathroom, but she will call you back. So, but she's really good at organizing and making sure that we keep it moving. And the reason why we'll continue to do this as well, because we want our volunteers, you got to know who you're working for. I've gone and volunteered at places, they just put you somewhere. They don't know my name. They don't know where I'm coming from. And when it's over with, they say thank you. You might get a little something fun, but after that, it's a wrap. So this is a good place to be right here. But let's move right along, because we want to have a little bit of lunch. You know, I don't know if it's going to get you full or whatever Miss Maria got planned, but we'll do that. We might go over a little bit, but not much, okay? Because we want you to at least have something before we end this afternoon, okay? So right now we're going to go over how we stand and who we are. And I think, Miss Maria, you're going to do that part, or Camille, you're going to do it?
Is to let you know what you have in your book, what you have in your folder, but not necessarily go over it. This is homework. This is homework for you to get to know the organization that you're volunteering with. So what you have in your folder is how we got started and who we are. Along with that, more importantly, we want you to have that second page, which talks about mandatory training. We always say, did you know? Every Mecklenburg board member goes through over 150 hours of training. That second page tells you the training that's mandatory for every Mecklenburg Council of Elder. I think that's why they wear their badges and they wear the names and their t-shirts, because they know they've had training in basic mediation, in court college, in CMPD transparency, race matters, juvenile justice, the CMPD Citizen Academy, I'm looking up here, the expungement training, certificate of relief partitioning, know your rights, Mecklenburg Council Public Defender's Office, and the monthly board meeting. Mm-hmm. So it's not just, we're doing a program just to say we did something, or
right.
just to have a name of a program. Mm-hmm. We are actually doing these programs because the bottom line for all of this training is that a life is changed. Mm-hmm. That we're doing things to make sure that a life changes. The first life that changes is your life.
And let me say this while Miss Maria is getting her mics ready. Take advantage of these programs. It only just not help you as a volunteer. It will help and support you in your nonprofit. And if you cannot go, and if you have other people that's within your own institutions, send your volunteers that work with you, because this is going to continue with your nonprofit, because you don't want to get all the ingredients yourself and you're not as well training the people that are working for you because they don't know, especially when you're doing public engagements, community outreach, and so on and so on. So, and these always help you. And we will give you something like if you need volunteer hours, because I know some may be in other institutions and they want to know what you're doing, so you can get that credit. So we're coming up with something to give you maybe like a certificate of your hours or something like that. So we'll continue to develop that so that way you will have it.
Thank you, April, for saying that, because it does. One of the things when you're applying for grants in your individual organization or in your individual businesses, you want to make sure you mention the trainings that you've had. That is very important. To say I've had basic mediation training, to say I've had the Race Matters Juvenile Justice training. And here's the caveat. Mecklenburg Council of Elder does not ask you to pay one dime for any of the training. Now, you may have at court college, you may have to pay for, I think, $20 or $40 for court college. That may be the only one, and they're working on that one not being charged at all.
Yeah.
But these trainings are all available at no cost. Who absorbs that cost? Mecklenburg Council of Elders. So that's part of the benefit, is part of helping you build your capacity in your individual organization as we move forward. The other thing in your package you have is our mission and history. I have been in organizations when I was volunteering for other organizations. I never knew what the organization stood for. I never knew what their, that's the third page in your package.
Your next sheet.
Volunteers normally do not get this sheet, but the next sheet is your 501c3 designation letter for Mecklenburg Council of Elders.
Garcia.
That is, if you've ever passed by that, that just, my heart just went out with Tent City. But that, you need to be aware of that's coming, because we'll be giving you more information on it. And what she means by evictions don't fall off, you go someplace else to get an apartment, the first thing they'll tell you is, you were evicted, Beth. And you, but that was, I forgot all about that. That doesn't matter, it's on there. Which means expungement has to happen for eviction. So it just, it's a vicious circle, unless we change the system.
That's what I was asking him, law through Laseef Majid, Joyce Waddell, Carla Cunningham, one of them, to ask them in support of us that it is illegal, it's a constitutional violation against our constitutional right of due process, because there's no respiratory what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if I'm convicted of a felon, or if I have certain charges, certain time, it drops. If it's a credit thing, I will certain 7 years, 10 years, it drops. But eviction stays on there. This should be illegal.
Let's couple of things. Let's correct one thing. On your criminal record, there is nothing that drops. The only thing that drops is after 7 years, your credit record. Criminal record, nothing is automatic until this second chance. That's why we're
Like you
looking
said,
at
the
how
system.
important that second chance is going to be. The other thing that you want to be aware of is when you say you are violating my constitutional rights, you got to know what constitutional right that is. Most people don't know the Constitution, and the police department told us in training they are not taught anything about the Constitution. The police officer on the street does not even realize that you have constitutional rights until he gets to court and the judge says, I'm going to throw this out because you violated the constitutional right. They are not given that training. And we've talked to Jennings, that's the training they need to know. Because we are people, and check this out, we are their employers. We employ the police. And we act like we're their children and they're the know-it-all. But that's not the case, and that's why it's so important. Now, the third thing you asked was, could Mecklenburg Council of Elders talk with one of the state elected officials to have a bill enter on the floor, either the House or the Senate? The answer is yes. But we don't know that. That's part of knowing your rights. We could write up a note
We can entertain that.
and talk to one of the state elected officials, and that elected official, if he or she will, can introduce the idea.
Of making a bill.
The volunteers, here you go with the volunteers that work on the state level, can then do the research to find out what the constitutional right is they're violating, so that the elected official standing before the House or the Senate can then have all of the data to back up their argument. So yes, it can happen, but who knows? Rhandu.
feel that it was put in place, it was systematic, put in place for poor people, or people that get in trouble, can't win. That it was systematic put in place.
I think we can entertain that. You know, we can try to talk about, because see what they can do. They can, as you get more and more people involved in that, then they have to write it up as a bill. And then it goes to our state. And then the state can take it to the House if it's not done through our governor. See, the governor has to be the one to say, yeah, I think this is a good idea, with your Senate, your other folk that are your state and your reps to do that.
Let's correct one thing, April. The governor is not the one that says yes.
Right, but I'm just saying
The House, as I
of,
said,
yeah,
the
House.
House, it has to be, you already, when you present it to one of your elected officials that on the state level, you already presented it to the state when you give it to him or her. So the next step is that they take it to their committee, House or Senate, and introduce it. And it becomes a law that they're working on, then it becomes a bill, then it becomes, what happens with the governor signs it in law once they've said, once the state or the, Senate has said that they want to have this law. But like April said, it needs to be a groundswell. I want to mention something that Rhandu said too. This is really good. Something that Rhandu said, systematic. The Constitution was written for landowners, for business owners, landowners. They didn't always look like you, but now they look like you. So the Constitution stands if you're in a position as like a landlord is, he owns property. It was for men in position that own properties or slaves. That's the whole crust behind, or that's half of the crust behind the Constitution. So you're quite right.
Is that not really not racism? Or is that just a law that they put in place?
Well, now that's a good question too. Can we call something racism if it was not even written for you? So racism has to do with the ones that are in the power to make decisions about the ones that are not in power, right? So I'm writing the Constitution, me and April and Sylvia and Martha get together, we're writing the Constitution. We ain't even thinking about you. We're not even considering you. But we're setting this up as a system based on where we come from, what we think about. So is it racism? Or is
It's a
it
gray area.
capitalism? Is it racism or is it capitalism? Started, thank you. Who said that? Started out as capitalism. It can become racism, racism when race enters the picture. When did race enter the picture?
Do they include us in voting?
When any one of us, picking cotton, stood up and said, I'm a man. When any one of us stood up, and it, like Sojourner Truth said, and said, ain't I a woman? So now it changes the dynamics of the whole playing field. Because I never even thought about you. That's like my pig or my cow or my horse talking about, I have rights. You see what I'm saying? So we have to put it in that perspective, but yes, it becomes a system
Moving on.
Because it's done over and over and over again by the same people. So we all get together, we all look alike, and now this one's on top. But what would happen if all the black folks got together and started writing the law? Would it be racist? I would say yes, because we would write the law based on where we are. So we have to really look at that and really work like Mecklenburg Council of Elders is doing to break down the system, because it is the system that is now unfair. Can Hispanics come in and say the same thing? Because Hispanics come in and they don't have the slightest idea about this black and white issue. Well, where do we come in? And then we say, you don't come in. But they do come in. So as the world turns, the picture gets broader and broader and broader. We have to make sure that everyone counts. And that's pretty much where volunteerism comes in. Because volunteerism helps to make sure that everyone comes to the table.
All right.
That everyone has a voice. That makes sense? It's just thank you, Rhandu, for even bringing it up. It just opens up a whole different can of worm for people that are not aware. Yeah?
Last thing, am I on that committee? 'Cause that's my passion.
What
Well,
committee?
not now. We're not.
Not
talking
yet.
about
We're
who-
still in the process.
As a volunteer, you can be on
Anything.
of the committees that we have. The next item here comes with an explanation. The next one is the one that talks about blacks only town hall meeting. Camille is going to pass you the explanation. This is the press release, what Camille is passing around so that you will have it along with that flyer, is the press release that went out. Because many people thought
I got one.
that we were being racist with this blacks only
Camille.
town hall meeting. You should have 2 sheets. You should have 2 sheets. You have 2 sheets, Sylvia? No, you should have 2 sheets. The
Just
sheet
put
you
that
get-
2 sheets of this.
The sheet you just gave back
Yeah.
to Camille is your second sheet. You have the flyer and then a second sheet. Camille, give her that sheet back.
I got here. Just take this one back.
Yeah. The press release is 2 sheets. The
Yeah,
press
now you got
release
it.
is 2 sheets. The press release this is the explanation that I'm talking about. When we started this, people thought that it was just black folks saying we just want to have a meeting with only black folks. But actually, the 2 primary votes on this issue at Mecklenburg Council of Elders for a blacks only town hall meeting was Townsend and Beth Marlin. And they are, as I checked yesterday, they are not black. But they recognized, but I don't know, the jury is still out on Beth Marlin. But the idea was they caught the idea of black folk coming together to help solve their problem instead of waiting for someone else to do it without the injection of anyone else. So the blacks only town hall meeting says no elected officials, no media, no CMDS, and no whites. And then I was at a meeting at Friendship with Beth Pickering, and I said, we're moving forward on this black only town hall meeting. What do you think? She said, that's great. When she was walking out the door, it's like, that was a no-brainer. You should have those meetings because we should be at our own table solving some of our own problems. Now, as Rhandu mentioned, there are systemic things we cannot solve. And that's where our white brothers and sisters come in, because they can intercede in some of those systematic things that happen that we have no power to inject our opinions, our thoughts, and sometimes we don't even have the knowledge to do it. That's where they come in, and that's why you have the explanation, the press release. Because the press release explains why we're doing this, and the press release was written with the edits of Thomas Saunders, who is non-African American. So we just want people to know, as volunteers, for you to know that Mecklenburg Council of Elders in that particular program is not practicing racism or separatism. We're practicing coming together to be self-sufficient in solving our own problems. So I hope that brings a lot of insight. What's the next one, April? The Juvenile Court Watch is a program. You have this paper here?
Yes, this one. You don't have one?
Okay. The Juvenile Court Watch flyer is to help tell you about that program, but basically it's Mecklenburg Council of Elders members and collaborators coming into the court, into juvenile court,
We'll make sure
to
next
help
time we do this. I need
bring
one.
about
I don't have
some
one. I gave
balance
mine to somebody else.
to the cases that come to the court.
Well, you can go back and
juvenile
fix yours
cases that
out,
come
but
to
you-
the court. Because in juvenile court, there is no one there to assist those kids when they come in. And a big example of that is the young man that shot the other young man in school. I think it was at West Charlotte. And Mecklenburg Council of Elders members and collaborators came so that when the judge called the young man's name, everybody stood up. Or how he's taken, how he's given probation. It goes a whole lot with how he or she is treated. So this is the program that's on the horizon. We just started working with juvenile justice in fully developing this program. So there's no funding for it yet, but it's on the horizon. You need to be aware of it. And the last program you should have should be this. You should have this flyer here. Do you have that one, Beth? No. I don't know. Okay. Ladies, Martha and April, if you can bring this flyer here to Beth. The no shooting zone is a sign that you will be seeing in every area where there's high crime. It's an entire program that we have developed that the chief of police recognized, actually had great things to say about it, and offered when we sent him the commercial. And I do want to mention right here on camera that Final Cut Multimedia has been doing our commercial. There's a commercial out on the Blacks Only Town Hall meeting. Take an opportunity to look at it YouTube. There's a commercial out on the no shooting zone, which is awesome. And that's all by Final Cut Multimedia. Please. Let me tell you how magnificent these commercials have been. When we sent the one to the chief of police, he had Mr. Chickasee call us back and say, y'all knocked it out of the park on this one. So that was great. And so that you'll know, one of the stars, and some people say the star, of this commercial is with us, Garcia.
I saw him fall out.
One lady wrote that she almost cried because she thought Garcia got shot. It was that real. It was that. When you fell on the ground, it was like, oh my goodness. The thing about it is, with this sign, it has a QR code. It has a QR code. What we are now doing, a couple of things. The QR code is changed on here. So what it will say, as soon as they put their phone up to the QR code, it'll open up to the commercial immediately. That's the first thing that it'll do. And we're changing that. The second thing is The commercial will be in both English and Spanish. Okay.
Can I get the Spanish version too? I can get it.
Pardon?
I can get the Spanish version.
Can you get what?
Can you get the Spanish version?
If you watch the commercial, what they're doing is subtitling. So the Spanish will be right there with the English. Right. So they can hear it. So they hear your shot in Spanish. But are there any other questions on anything that we've said or shared with you today?
How often can we do this training?
I'm gonna tell you that as we get ready to move forward.
She's gonna.
Because I want to keep everybody get in and get out so we can have. Are we still gonna have lunch or how you still gonna go?
It depends on if they can stay.
Okay.
Okay.
If you all can stay, we'll do lunch afterwards because that's gonna be like your end of the session, talk, chat, get to know each other, and we'll fade out.
Right.
Okay.
So that ends all of our presentation on all of our programs to date. We have been funded on both the expungement, the petition of relief, and our other programs, including the no shooting zone. So we have that funding, so we're able to do some of the things that we do with the funding that we have. Fortunately, we have a treasurer with us that's going to be
Managing.
making sure that we get additional funding. And the great thing, we're asking for a volunteer account. That's what we needed to tell our volunteers. And we're building the capacity of the 15 organizations that work with us financially. And I think the first organization to really take advantage of that is Locked Out Love.
Claps for Camille.
Because we were able to help, what did we do, clothing and?
Yes, clothing and toiletries, also paying confined support as well, providing gift cards from, the furthest is Ohio now, South Carolina as well.
That's awesome.
Very good. And there'll be more. There'll be more. The more time we get, the more money we get, the more we do, the more people will say, oh, there is a benefit emotionally, financially, and working on your communities with it. I do want to bring your attention to Calvin Frazier, Calvin's Coffee. She shared something with me the other day that I thought was disheartening, and it's disheartening. She shared with us something I thought was disheartening. I don't want to make her cry, but that was disheartening. But I think it's a lesson for all of us, and to understand, if you've been privy to any budgets that I do budgets at 33% for grant funding, because when you're getting other outside funding, they don't want to fund it all. But she, of course, you know, is in Charlotte, what is it, CPCC. That's where her business is operating from. But when CPCC shuts down, that she shuts down. She shuts down. So I want to say that in a way that so wouldn't make her emotional. But that means that if she shuts down, that shuts down her livelihood. So you want to make sure that you remember that as we go about our business activities that we're doing. Get Calvin's number, her card, call her up, because she is available to come to event, to set up, to be there or not be there, just to set up your coffee. Like with Genesis Project One, if they needed coffee, let's say to serve all the people that are your testers, and you need to have coffee set up, she can set that coffee up. So I just wanted you to keep in mind of doing business with each other, because you know what the word on the street is. Black folks don't do business with each other. We don't, that's what the word on the street is, but we don't have to abide by that word. We are an example as Mecklenburg Council of Elders of black folk and white folk doing business with each
Together.
other. It's called reciprocity. If I pay
Reciprocity.
Calvin,
Reciprocity.
Calvin can pay Chevelle, Chevelle can pay April, April can pay Sylvia, Sylvia can pay Beth, Beth can pay AW, AW can pay Rhandu, Rhandu can pay Natasha, Natasha can, maybe she'll pay Garcia, Garcia can pay Martha, Martha can pay Camille, and it goes back around
Camille
again.
can pay
And
Terrell.
we all can live. And the bottom line with what I want to end with is just let's live. Let's live. Let's remember
Let's
that.
give Miss Maria a hand, y'all.
That ends.
So what we're gonna do now, because like I said, we going towards our end. I cannot stop before we have a chance to introduce our board members, because we do have a couple board members and we gotta respect them because they, we help make the decisions for Mecklenburg Council of Elders. So it's not just one person. That board is what keep everything going, how we able to operate, as well as our new board members. So everyone that's a board member with Mecklenburg Council of Elders, please stand, say your name, and let everyone know your operation, what your nonprofit is. I'm gonna start with Ms. Greer, because this is royalty right here. This lady have been here. If you don't know this one right here, Ms. Greer, this is the first lady I met when I started wanting to get involved in the community and things like that. And she helped orchestrate it, and I had no idea this was gonna pass, this was gonna do. When there was problems in the school system, she helped us get the community center over on Sugar Creek. She probably don't remember it, but over in Sugar Creek, and we got the city council, the school board, the county commission, and all of that. So you have to respect this one, because she was out there before some of us have been. So let's give Ms. Greer a hand, because she is a trailblazer. She is a trailblazer.
I want to thank April for the Sylvia L. Greer Genesis Project. I want to thank April because all I've done was what I was supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
That was what I was supposed to do. So whatever I did, it was just part of doing. And I am now a board member, and since my name wasn't on the list, I forgot what committee am I? I'm on, oh, that's right, I'm on the we hadn't met in so long. I'm on the Know Your Rights Committee. I am a former chair of the Mecklenburg Council of Elders. And I'm looking forward to more work from Maria.
Hi, I'm Chevelle Jackson. I'm a new member of the board. I'm the treasurer. I bring with me my experience in human resources, diversity, management, accounting, so, and just my passion to help out in any way I can in the community.
My name is A.W. Burgess. I'm with Family Mankind. We are a domestic violence, child abuse, and bullying organization. Our mission is to permanently eradicate domestic violence, child abuse, and bullying by working with, and I mean passionately working with, the domestic violence offenders, the child abusers, and the bullies. I always tell people we work with the most violent, the most vulnerable, the most at risk, to serve and protect the most innocent, the most vulnerable, all right? By doing that, we're able to save both, as well as save the communities that these individuals reside within. And we do that so that everyone can live a victorious lifetime, knowing that we only get one lifetime. So in essence, we are really calling in, not calling out, the abusers, these bullies, these offenders, so that we can give them the proper mental wellness that they so deserve, and so that, again, we can live to save lives and legacies. Again, thank you for Ms. Maria Macon, who invited me to be a part of this board. And I'm constantly thankful for the people that are serving, partnering with folks, collaborating with folks. Thank you so very much for just even allowing me to be here with you and support your visions as well.
AW did he did a speaking engagement for our auxiliary for the Baptist Auxiliary Union, and he tore it up. Those women were so intrigued, and we wanted him to come back, but because of COVID-19, we cannot do it. It was like, no, we want him to come back again. He did an awesome job, and they called me because I couldn't come. I had another engagement, and he could not come, and I could not come. But they gave me good feedback, and they really enjoy him. So you need a good speaker, and when you talk about doing stuff in the public, he's a good speaker. You know you speak loud, but.
Breaker 1-9, testing 1 2 3. Garcia Nelson, born and raised Charlotte, North Carolina. Amen. You know, it's just been a blessing to be a part of the Mecklenburg Council of Elders, being a part of the founding member of the MEN organization, which stands for Mentoring, Educating, Nurturing, and likewise what AW is doing and been very active in the community. We are also continue to do that as well as through the mentoring. I want to share, just being a part of the Council of Elders for the MEN organization has actually allowed us to expand capacity, to grow both financially and better understanding of what it takes to permanently, as an individual, give service. And so, and I say that to say, for those that are coming aboard the Council of Elders through volunteering, being a part of the board of directors, and those that just follow us through our social media, through the YouTube, through Facebook, through our Twitter account, through Instagram, all of our different ways that y'all follow us. It's important to understand how to commit yourself to service. Much is given, much is required. But when you give from love, you can't get nothing but love. So understand your giving. Thank you.
This is my sister right here. This is my sister from another mother. I call her Big Sis sometimes. You know, so, you know, we have to, you know, respect royalty, but continue to keep Camille in your thoughts, please. So continue to do that, because I'm a mother, and I would never want anybody to go. So just keep her in your thoughts. Sometime call and check up on her. And she said, April, I want to do a girls trip, girls night or something, because she want to continue to have everyone surround her. So just continue to just keep her in her thoughts, and she's going to share some of that money she got. And so this is my big sister right here.
Amen.
Good morning. I am Camille Steffens with the nonprofit for Locked Out Love, and also the founder and director for Life Forces. And so honored, of course, to be one of the first programs for MCOE to receive funding in order to help those that we serve. For Locked Out Love, we serve those individuals who are currently incarcerated and also who are now post-incarceration as well, and their families, providing resources for them when they come home. Of course, it's brand new. We've got ones who have been gone. If they've been gone a year, it's a difference for just that year, all the way up to the last guy served 15 years that we're serving as well. And so we want to continue to provide those services for them, just to help them with care packages to get on their feet, underwear, clothing, shoes, those things that, of course, that they had when they left, they don't have anymore either. They're totally outdated. So we've been blessed to be able to do that. We've been blessed to be able to provide services for their families as well. And what that has looked like is providing them with assistance for food, for rental, for whatever whatever needs that they may have while their loved one is gone, and or when they come back to the community. We've got a guy now that we're working to get and secure employment for him, and then we've got a couple more that's coming home. So I encourage you to continue to support Locked Out Love, and if you know any place that could be a benefit for our people, whether it be male or female, that are coming home, from being incarcerated. We encourage your support for us to continue that, the education piece as well. Also, we have the organization and myself have just gotten certified with MRT, and MRT is moral recognition therapy. And so that's a very good program. It lasts about 9 months totally. And so it's a process where they begin to think, and it's about stop and think, which is something that I've taught for several years now, about 17 years now. And it allows them to really think about the consequences, really think about what's going to happen as a result of committing an action that could bring negative consequences. So through that program, it's very enlightening, and it's something that we are offering through Locked Out Love and also MCOE, and definitely will follow suit with the Juvenile Court Watch as well. So thank you very much. I appreciate you, and I love you all. And thank you for the new people who have agreed to come on board with us to make sure that we serve. I believe that God has us here only to serve. If you're breathing, then you should be a servant. Thank you.
I am Martha Hubbell, and I am the new secretary here, and just very, very happy to have been asked to do this. I don't represent a non-for-profit, although someday I would love to be part of many different non-for-profits. And this one, you all just do such an amazing job. I'm a Charlotte passionate community volunteer, and like to think of myself as an activist. Through my church and through the community, I just love social justice. It's a calling. It's a God thing. And I'm currently working through my church and some other communities and groups on some real good, serious anti-racism work that I'm very, very much involved in. The books and all the feedback, and I'm very, very encouraged. And even though I've only learned this much, I really hope through those things and through this group that I can really, really help change Charlotte, help change the world, and do what God has called me to do. So call me, let me know as secretary if there's anything you need. I think I already got a message from one of you. So I'm not perfect, but I am going to try my best to help everybody and support you. And I'm very, very impressed with Maria and all of you and your contributions and all the work that you all do.
Thank you.
I want to say thank you and give recognition to Camille Steffens for inviting me to a session that you all were having and filming, which made me become a part of the whole process. And
Thank you.
my passion.
Thank you. Okay, you guys, my name is April Benson. I am the assistant aide to Miss Maria. We all are volunteers because we are part of that board. We all are volunteers. So, you know, you still have board members that work with Mecklenburg Council of Elders. But before we let Miss Maria say something regarding herself, please, you all, stand up and give Miss Maria a hand. You know, we got to acknowledge the work that she has put into building this nonprofit. It's not easy. It's not easy her fussing at us, because when I get it, Camille get it too. And if it ain't right, she will let us know that. So a lot of times if you have a hard time getting with me, Miss Maria, Camille's there, you know, we work as a team. So yes, we have to acknowledge that, because again, it ain't easy trying to get people to be a part of your organization. You got some that's gonna be faithful, and you got some that's gonna wanna lead. But I'm gonna let Miss Maria say something. And, oh yeah, Kavina, we want her to say something about what you don't want to, okay, she says she don't want to because I think we don't talk enough about it. But I'm going to let Miss Maria say something about her nonprofit. We did have some people that had to leave Saturday. If you guys give us, it's Saturday, and I know a lot of people have things they got to do. But, you know, even though we want her to say something about, again, herself.
Thank you. Yes, sir. The one thing that I want to say that is that it comes from the heart. sometimes I may say something or do something or tell somebody you ought to know better, but count that to my head, not my heart, because it's just and volunteers are so important to me. I used to always volunteer until I started doing the work that I do on my business, and it becomes a conflict of interest for me to volunteer with other organizations outside of Mecklenburg Council of Elders. But I'm available, and that's important, to be available. But then to know what you're available for, and to know what your worth is and what you can give. I do not believe that God gave any of us the breath of life just for us to come here, live, do whatever we do, and then die. I just don't believe that. I believe that we are here for a reason, that we have to touch each other, and the skills and the talents that we develop are not for us to keep. They're to give away. It's not knowledge, it's power. It's giving that knowledge away to other people that bring about the power. I want to live a long time. My daughter told me day before yesterday I had the opportunity now to live to 120. That was scary, because I'm like, what am I going to do at 120 years old? But the idea is I live through other people. That's what eternal life is about. When you can do what you do, and somebody else, long when you're gone, says, I learned this from this person, or A.W. told me this, or Beth showed me this. That's the important thing, because that's the continuation of our life, I believe. So I am so grateful that you're here. I know we said to 12, and we had planned for lunch, but I know a lot of people have to leave. So please eat up everything Calvin has over there for you and for us. And just thank you so much. Thank you for volunteering. Thank you for being my friend. Thank you.
That's so sweet. So before we end, I just want to say a couple of things before we get ready to end. If you sign up to volunteer, or if you have other people that you gonna allow to volunteer with us, and they still have to go through a training, but we still try to work within the realm of what we need, please show up. Don't just not show up, because we might need somebody, especially when we're doing the expungement clinics. Because sometimes I know at the last minute things do happen, but let us know so we can try to pull someone else in, especially with registration. Beth is a VIP volunteer. That means she kind of just jumps in. She knows everything when it comes to these operations, and she's been here for a long time. When you're doing registration, that's who we kind of let just kind of handle those that's going to be working with Beth, because she's swift. She knows the process, especially when we're doing expungements, because that's our main piece to Mecklenburg Council of Elders. Also, too, if you have anyone that is in your circle, your nonprofits that you feel like can be a part of Mecklenburg Council of Elders, let us know, because the people that work with you, they should be getting the same training, because they can be effective in your group, because that way you ain't got to worry about paying nobody, because I charge. But anyway, but moving on, it is important to let us know if you're not available to serve after agreeing to do so. Please just do not show up. We need participation from the members, collaboration, and volunteers to have successful events, workshops, or community engagement, especially when MCOE is invited to attend events and community outreach as partners. That means if we are invited to be somewhere and they ask a Mecklenburg Council of Elders, we don't want Miss Maria just going by herself. So I may call, or Camille may call, or U.S. Secretary Chevelle would call. Let's say if you call Rhandu, and Rhandu say, yeah, I'm going to show up. I will be there down at City Council with Miss Maria, and then she don't show up. That means she has to let you know, and you contact me, or she can just contact me, and I'll say, Chevelle, she's not coming. So that way in your notes as being, well, not you, Beth, yeah. So she'll know, our secretary, so she'll know, okay, they can come, because our numbers are important as volunteers. We got to have keep those numbers, as well as when Calvina, when she come, I know I'm making noise. When Calvina come, because that way we're trying to take a lot of that stuff from away from Miss Maria. So that way, when we're trying to take that away from her. So that means our secretary will contact Calvina. Calvina, this is our secretary. She's going to be the one that's going to be orchestrating when you need to be here and stuff, because we got projects going on and we need to free up some time. So if I call and I say I need some help and things, or Camille call and say, me and Miss Maria, we're going so and so somewhere, y'all need to go ahead and get the volunteers together. And then if you having a big event and you don't have a lot of volunteers for your organizations, let us know. We'll pull from our volunteers. Okay? So anybody have any questions? It's about 12, we're a little after 12:30. I think we're still gonna try to have whatever we're gonna do right here. Finish that. We was gonna do a regular lunch, but I only wanted to do 2 hours because I don't think we had to be here for a certain time to do volunteer training. So
One thing that I would like to add,
Mhm.
that you mentioned, April, what you said was really important. There are Mecklenburg Council of Elders is a collaboration of 15 organizations. Those organizations have at least 5 board members. So if you're having an event, there should be 75 potential people showing up at your event just with us alone. Keep that in mind so we can continue to do that and help each other. You should not have an event and say, I'm a member of Mecklenburg Council of Elders, and you're just standing all by yourself. Or if you're a volunteer, let us know so that we can come and support, even if it's just hollering and saying, hey, Rhandu, we need to help, we need to support each other. Because what we're doing is showing people what working together looks like, what it looks like. And thank you all so much again. April.
Okay, y'all, we're gonna go. Anybody have any questions, any concerns, anything coming up? Make sure you get with our new secretary, so that way we'll put it in our notes. And we correspond by Messenger as well. So if you're not on Messenger in the group message, let because she has the large one. I'm gonna take that from her too. So that way we'll be able to correspond. So it'll come on your phone, because I know you're all AW already in it, Beth. I don't think you are, Rhandu, what have you. But if you're not, even with you, Calvin, we'll put you in the thing too, because you're still a part of us. Just because, you know, you do it as a small business, you're a part of Mecklenburg Council of Elder. And that's why I said, just go ahead and sit, even though you're a seat filler, but just, you know, you still a part, because you want to know where things are happening, so that way you can still continue. When crises like this happen, you still be able to continue to build your brand. So. Oh, well, he always around, y'all. He's always around. But same thing as Terrell. I think you are in our messenger, right? Are you in our group? Okay, so he kind of knows everything that's going on, where we're going to be at. But utilize him. If you know you have an event coming up and you want it to be professional, do not hesitate, because this is his business too. This is his business. So please utilize every one of us. And I got one thing for to say, y'all. Let's dismiss. Stand up. We're going to say one thing. Y'all want to stand up? We're getting ready to go. Just repeat after me. Y'all two over there, we're going to separate y'all. Y'all will not sit together no more. I'm going to have to do you like we in kindergarten. You're going to sit over there and you're going to sit over there. Just kidding. But I want you all to repeat after me. We work together. Amen. Amen.